Now, Andrew Borba will perform My Date with Neanderthal Woman by David Galef.
I didn't know whether to bring flowers, which don't say much to someone from a basic subsistence culture. But a raw beefsteak might come across as too suggestive, and I'd read somewhere that Neanderthals were supposed to be vegetarians. I opted for the middle road, box of chocolates. I arrived just as the sun was sinking below the tree line. Glenna lived in a cave by the edge of the forest and had, I'd heard, a more natural sense of time than those of us dominated by Rolexes and cell phones. Still, she wasn't there when I hurt my hand knocking on the cave entrance. I tried twice, the second time with my foot. But then I called out, emphasizing the glottal G I'd heard when her name was pronounced by the Trans World Dating Agency. She appeared as if suddenly planted in front of me, barrel-chested and bandy-legged, not much taller than a high-cut tree stump. Her furry brown hair was matted with sweat, but she smiled in a flat-faced way as I held out the chocolates. Grabbing the box, she ripped it open, crowed with delight. She stuffed several candies with their wrappers into her mouth and chewed vigorously. Now, the agency had told me not to waste time with complicated verbal behavior, so I just pointed at her and myself and said, "Glenna, Robert." She nodded and pointed to the chocolate and rubbed her belly. Such a primal response. Frankly, I'd grown tired of modern women and their endless language games, right? She offered me one of the remaining chocolates from the box. I was touched. Pure reciprocity. Now, though she looked disappointed that I didn't eat the wrappers. But no, I mimed eating and pointed away from the forest. I would take her out to dinner. Now, Neanderthals, I recalled, were often on the cusp of starvation. She seemed to understand and followed me obediently as I led her to Chez Asperge, a small French fusion vegan restaurant not far from the woods. Now, Chez Asperge is elegant but casual, and we were greeted heartily by Claude, the maitre d'. I didn't know there was a dress code. In fact, the little loincloth that Glenna wore made me feel overdressed. Well, anyway, the situation was fixed with a borrowed jacket, which Glenna wore in a charmingly sort of asymmetrical fashion. God, I hate all the introductory explanations of a first date, which is why I was so happy that none of that mattered to Glenna. Right? With the familiarity as if she'd known me for years, she spread her arms on the table and scooped up the mashed lentil dip. Now, it's true. A woman who enjoys her food is sexy. Of course, she offered me some, and I showed her how to spread it on pita, but knives seemed to frighten her, and I'm sorry about that scar on the table. But still, we had a lovely meal. She particularly enjoyed the raw vegetable plate. After dinner, I walked her home along the forest path. Movies and clubs could come later. I didn't want to overstimulate her. Even electric lights made her twitch. But along the path, the moon was out, illuminating Glenna's short but powerful body in a way that was weirdly beautiful. When I reached for her hand, she jerked back. Different cultures have different intimacy rights, the agency guy said. So I took pains to explain that my intentions were honorable. Maybe she couldn't understand the words, yet I think she got the gist. And anyway, there's a limit to what I can achieve by gestures. Eventually, her hand crept into mine and nearly crushed it. My miming pain, hopping on one foot and flailing, made her laugh. Now, a sense of humor is important in a relationship. We paused at the entrance of her cave. She smiled, the gaps in her teeth drawing me in. Her earthy aroma was a definite aphrodisiac. What came next was a sort of kiss, followed by a rib-cracking embrace, which my osteopath says is healing nicely. Still, whenever I think about it, I feel twinges. What a woman. I'd like to invite her out for the weekend, but I can't email her. I mean, maybe I'll just drop by her cave accidentally on purpose with a bouquet of broccoli. Yeah. I know all the objections. Some couples are separated by decades. We're separated by millennia. I like rock music. She likes the music of the rocks. I'm a Homo sapien. She's a Neanderthal. But I think we can work out our differences if we try.